In Ukraine, heavy fighting continues along the entire front line, without much success on either side. In the Kharkiv region, the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU, control the Pudanka-Petomnik-Rubizhnoye line. The AFU took up positions near the state border of Russia, near the village of Ternovy. Over the past few days, there has been no further advance of the AFU to the east, despite continuous attempts. Unable to deliver a crushing blow to the Russian military positions in the region, the Ukrainian military continues to shell Russian villages located near the border. During another shelling of the Belgorod region, a local civilian was injured. In the Izium area, fighting continues to the south of the village of Dolganki and near Koruki. Russian troops reached the Ukrainian positions in Barvinkovo. Fighting is reported in the village of Gusarovka, located on the southern outskirts of the town. To the west of Izium, the AFU units that tried to force the Seversky Donetsk River were destroyed. Despite the threat of encirclement, the Kiev regime continues to transfer additional equipment and personnel to the area. Fighting continues near the village of Liman. From Yampol, the front line moved to the village of Dibrovo. According to preliminary data, on May 16th, Russian-led forces took control of the villages of Yarovaya and Drobyshevo in the Oskol area. The Ukrainian grouping of troops in Liman risks falling into an operational encirclement, while the bridge leading from the town to Slavyansk was destroyed. The AFU grouping in the region is divided into two parts, centered in Sviatogorsk and in Liman. On May 15th, 8 civilians were reportedly released by the AFU from the town of Novosilovka. A ceasefire regime was established for several hours in order to secure the transfer of civilians to DPR forces. While the assault and shelling on the AFU positions was suspended, Ukrainian forces took their time to reinforce their defenses. Fierce fighting continues in the area of Belogorovka, where Russian forces suffered heavy losses while trying to cross the Seversky Donetsk River. No successes on either side were reported. The Lysychansk-Artsemovsk highway is still under fire control by Russian artillery. In the area of Severodonetsk, there are battles for Shedrishevo, Voronovo, and Borovskoye. To the south, the battles for Orikovo and Toshkovka continue. Meanwhile, north of Popasnaya, the village of Alexandropole came under the control of Russian forces. Fighting continues for Kamyshavaka and in the area of Vyrubovka. Clashes continue along the entire line near the city of Donetsk. The Russian military claimed some progress. An assault was launched on the outskirts of the village of New York. In the area of Advidka, Russian troops are trying to advance along the Advidka, Konstantinovka, and Novogorodskoye highways. The intensification of positional battles in the area of Gorovka was also reported. In the Marinka area, the situation remains unchanged. In the south of Donbass, Russian forces are trying to weaken Ukrainian forces on the outskirts of the town of Ugledar. Fighting also continues on the outskirts of Velikaya Novoselka. Ukrainian forces are trying to counterattack. The AFU launched an offensive between Gulepole and Malinoskaya. According to unconfirmed reports, as a result of the failed attack, the AFU lost 30 tanks, 11 fighting infantry vehicles, 2 Grad systems, 2 armored personnel carriers, and more than 300 soldiers. Meanwhile, artillery shelling of positions of both sides continues along the entire front line. In the Kherson-Mykolaiv regions, the front line remains without change. It lays along the line of the Black Sea, Alexandrovka, Maximovka, Snigrivka, Uskapole, and the Dnieper River.